Yeah.
Okay, last time also a bit discussed initially. Recap of why she was asking. So 29th chapter, the contents are about bhakti. I'm just giving a clue. So she, of course, 25th chapter also much about bhakti. Nirguna bhakti, Saguna bhakti, Mishrita bhakti, all this bhakti was discussed in detail, many chapters. And 29th again she asked about bhakti. And then Kapila describes about bhakti also. And then she was asking about samsara, how jivas go through samsara, cycle of samsara. Basically, to develop detachment from the samsara, when we understand dukkha doshanu darshanam, janma mrityu jara vyadi, dukkha doshanu darshanam, pushpull express, pushpull train, we need to remember. I don't know, you might have
Yes,
heard.
Guruji. We remember the push pull.
Yeah,
The the push is basically from material miseries,
correct,
and the
correct.
pull is the beautiful instructions of the Shastra and the beautiful process of devotional service.
Yeah. Spiritual world is like a pull, material world is
Pull,
like a push. Yeah.
push.
So, yeah. So that's the main point. Samsara, when we understand details of samsara, all the miseries, 30th chapter about the hellish planet. I mean, of course, the process of misery, how one undergoes many, many miseries, and then how he suffers in hell. And then in 31st, we are discussing how he is taking birth again after suffering so many species of life. Misery in many species of life he is developing in the womb again, taking birth. So by understanding all this, studying all this, Prabhupada also mentions how we should develop. That is the main purpose. Develop little detachment from the misery or from difficulties. So the more we understand, the more we realize this place is a terrible place. As Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur many times mentions, this world is not a place for gentlemen. So, so that's what he was mentioning. So that's in that way we develop little detachment. Of course, the bhakti limbs, out of 64 limbs, there is no kind of practicing vairagya, but still it helps. It helps a little bit to more determine with great determination to practice bhakti. So that kind of little detachment, as Acharyas mentioned, little detachment will help us. So that was the main point of this section. Developing
So,
detachment
bro,
by
can we
understanding.
say that mother they have to ask this question, seeing
Oh,
the souls of this material world who are completely entrapped in sense gratification, because she has some uh,
yeah,
mercy feeling
correct.
towards them. That is why she is asking these
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. Generally, yeah, the great souls ask for our sake. That's a general understanding. She asked. In this case, the Kapil Muni, the son, is giving all the instructions, and she was representing us definitely because the mother of Supreme Lord, definitely she is not under illusion or under at all any kind of miseries, but still on behalf of us, she is asking how one should practice bhakti, how one undergoes, how should I understand that I am miserable, how can I become fixed up in practicing bhakti. She's asking all these questions, just like Arjuna was put into that illusion to ask many many questions. Here the I didn't read directly any time that Kapila, I mean, he made unto, he kind of put illusion under Devhuti, but there is no kind of direct mention. But from Acharyas, we understand that from overall situation, we understand that it's our position that we are undergoing so many situations. We need to understand because she is the mother of Supreme Lord. She is going to be. There is no question of misery for her. She's going to be she is in the association of Supreme Lord. Where else she can? So she's for us, for all of us. Yeah. So that's the main point. All the three chapters till 30, 31, and 32. 31 is about especially the destinations of those who undergo tamasic activities, especially hellish planets. This is a wide range of subject. Who goes to hell, who doesn't go, who suffers, how much they suffer, and all. Karmana Gahano Gati. It's a very intricate karma. So we cannot, but definitely these are all there. That's why Sukadeva Goswami and they are describing in the Srimad Bhagavatam and many Puranas explain details of all these hellish and heavenly planets, both. Punya, they go to heavenly planets. Papa, they suffer in hellish life. Same, both sides of same coin, material world. So for a devotee, for especially from pure devotional point of view, both are hellish only. Both are hellish in the sense both are not at all aspired for, nor one is greatly, yeah, as Lord Shiva says that Narayana Parasarve Nakutasana Vipati Swarga Pavarga Narakeshu Apitulyata Darshinaha. Swarga Pavarga Naraka. Three things. Swarga, Apavarga means liberation. Naraka, Apitulyata Darshana. Same. Why? Because he's always hankering for service. He's always engaged in service. That's the beauty of devotional service, and devotee's aspiration, main aspiration. That is main aspiration. That today also we will see the prayers of a devotee in the womb of a mother, a jiva. So last time we discussed a little bit how jiva enters into the womb, especially the growth of jiva. Different months are described from first verse to till 11th verses. All the different days are explained here, how he develops slowly till 10 months. So that is described. Child is nourished by mother whatever she eats and drinks. So that is explained. But mainly sufferings are only explained. How the baby is suffering in spite of, not in spite of, but yeah, at all levels, at different levels, and different months also. How she is suffering, simply suffering in the womb. That is explained till 11th. And from today we will see. Most probably we will complete this section 12 to 21. Very important, very enlightening section. Prayers of a devotee jiva in the womb. So 11th verse we have seen the devotee jiva, frightened and pleading, offer prayers to the Lord with a distressed voice. So main point here is that not all the jivas pray, can pray also. So not all the jivas pray, only some. Even in the devotee jiva also. Devotee jiva means what we understand is those who have done some devotional service, they have some devotional sukritis, devotional credits in the previous life. They, out of them also, only few offer prayers when they are very advanced. So that's how they offer prayers to the Lord. That's what Kapil Muni, he is remembering. He is the Supreme Lord. Oh, that devotee jiva offered prayers in the womb to me. So that he describes here. So he remembered that jiva. So otherwise, normal jiva, no prayers at all. What to speak of prayers is simply suffering in the womb. But this devotee jiva is praying to the Lord. So because Lord Kapila remembered, so that devotee prayers. So that's how he's explaining here. Intertwined the two sections. Ordinary jiva's birth, at the same time, the devotee jiva's birth also. They are a little bit intermixed. But the prayers are especially by devotee jiva. That's what the main comment of Acharyas. A devotee can only pray to the Lord in the womb, otherwise it's not at all possible. So that's the main point. We will see 12 to 21. These prayers are offered by Jiva, wonderful prayers. Basically, essence is that it is only by mercy of Lord, mercy of the devotees, I got this opportunity to remember you, my dear Lord. I am offering to you my prayers, and I am awakened to this condition to understand you by only your mercy. So I take shelter of you. So that's kind of it's a gratitude. It's a gratitude to Supreme Lord, gratitude to Spiritual Master and Mahat Kripa, and also the exalted position of the Lord. Though the Lord is staying with me in my heart always, is there always, wherever the soul is there, as long as the soul is in this material world, in this Brahmandas. So wherever is rotating, the Paramatma will be there definitely. So that's the Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Sanatana, because Krishna is we are all part and parcel of Lord. Paramatma is always accompanying the Jiva. Wherever he goes, the Jiva goes, wherever the Jiva goes, whichever body, male, female, dog, cat, whatever. Only in the spiritual world, Paramatma is not accompanying because Supreme Lord is there in front in the form of Supreme Lord, soul in its original position. But as long as he is there in this material world, he is always accompanying whichever the form of the body. So that we understand from various verses, also from Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna is saying that Sarvasya Hridisannivishto Mattasmritirjnanam Apohanam Cha Sarvasya Hridisannivishto. So, but it's not saying about only human body. No, Hridisannivishto. He is there everywhere. He is giving knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So Yandra Rudani Maya, 18th chapter. So basically Krishna is always with us, next to us, in fact, the closest person. The closest person and also the dearest person. Sometimes though we are in phys- I mean, proximity, I mean, though physically we may be little very near to someone, but may not be very close in terms of relationship. Though we may be staying in one room in ashram or in, of course, in family, joint family or nuclear family. Many times it's quite, sometimes, not many times, sometimes it may be difficult to correlate. But Krishna is the closest and also very dearest. But because we are separated, we feel farthest. We will see beautiful prayer from Mother Pingala also, what she is saying in this connection, same connection. So that also is expressed by devotee Jiva, my dear Lord, you are there with me always, but I forgot you. So that, of course, Lord's qualities are also mentioned by Jiva, how Supreme Lord's qualities, how he is beyond the matter, how he is not touched by this matter at all, though he is next to me in this body. So that is the difference between conditioned bound Jiva and unbound Supreme Lord. That is also one topic. These are the main topics of the Jiva offering prayers. Is gratitude, the position of the living entity, which is bound, the position of Supreme Lord, who is unbound, and the gratitude, especially for giving the opportunity. These are some of the prayers topics. It goes till 21st, and 22nd to 31st is like ordinary jiva. Now again, section goes to ordinary jiva, suffering of jiva after coming 10 months, he comes out of the womb and how he suffers in the womb, I mean outside of the womb, how he is suffering. That is explained. And if we are not careful, if we are not again taking to process of bhakti, then because of bad association, again we'll go to that samsara cycle as explained in the previous chapter. So the cause explained here, the association, bad association. So that is explained in the 32 to 48 verses. Because of the bad association, especially in the form of man and woman relationships. When Kapila Muni explains very graphically how man is attached to woman, woman is attached to man, without Krishna in the center. So the ideal, and there is a statement, I think his Sashamguru mentions, only when the divine couple is there in between the couple, only that family has a great advancement. They can make great advancement. Divine couple has to be there between the couple. So without that divine couple in between the couples, the whole situation will be again going towards hellish conditions. That's the main theme of association, bad association, 32 to 48. So that's the whole overall section, this 38, this chapter. So that's till 48 it will goes. Okay. It's already 311. We'll start with okay, we can start with reading first. First, we'll read the prayers summary and then we'll go to prayers. Maybe someone can read only translations of from 12 to 21. We can know at least what is the summary of these prayers we are going to see. Are you able to see the document?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Okay, so 12th, you can read 12th. Here is right, 12th.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Raj.
Okay.
Okay.
Your lotus
Your
feet.
lotus feet. Yeah.
Okay. Your lotus feet bestow fearlessness. You appear in various incarnations to protect your devotees.
So here the living entity expressing the greatness of the Lord. Here the jiva able to see the position of the Lord. Yeah, 13.
You have appeared like a conditioned soul, but pure, changeless, and endowed with indestructible knowledge. You are perceived within my distressed heart.
Yeah. Atapyamana hridaye vasitam namami. Though you are there in the heart, but we cannot perceive him unless we have that kind of sincerity, eagerness, purity. Yeah, that is expressed. Mm.
You are superior both to Prakriti and the Purushavatars, and your powers are not weakened by contact with matter.
Yeah, the qualities of Supreme Lord is beyond Purusha, Prakritis, Tohi, Bhukte, Prakriti. Of course, that is about Jiva, not Varis. But Supreme Lord is beyond Prakriti and Purusha. So next, 15th.
How can a person deeply afflicted with samsara remember the abode of the Lord without the mercy of his devotees?
Yeah, so here glorified Mahadanugraha. Mahadanugraha. Only by mercy of devotees we can remember the Supreme Lord. Mm. Who else read?
Who else but the Paramatma can give this knowledge to a person like me? Therefore, we should worship him to destroy our miseries.
Mm. So to cross out this, we should take shelter of the Supreme Lord who is staying in the heart as a Paramatma. Natami buddhi yogam tam yena mamapayantate. So we need to take shelter of the Lord. Yes.
The foolish Jiva, tortured inside the womb of his mother and desiring to get out, counts the months and prays, O Lord, when will I get out?
Let's praying. Please let me out. Mm.
But I am grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to be born as a devotee by your mercy. I cannot repay this mercy. Please be satisfied with your act of compassion.
So I'm grateful for giving me knowledge and giving the opportunity again to revive my relationship. Hmm.
A jnani soul sees through his intelligence the sufferings and happiness that his body undergoes. A devotee soul like me sees you, the original person, the giver of that intelligence. Wow.
So different types of souls. Like Gnani soul is also explained and devotee soul. How
A
they
devotee is much
perceive.
higher.
Because
Mhm.
yeah, that is there. Yeah, as per Acharyas, that whatever the soul practiced previously, karma, jnana, bhakti, or yoga also, accordingly they perceive the Supreme Lord in the heart. If they are advanced, the yogis, if they are advanced, if the Gyan is advanced, they also can see the Lord, but at different levels. That's the main point of this. As especially devotee, he is always seeing the Lord. Hmm. 20th.
3.31.20. Though I am suffering here, inside the womb, I do not desire to get out of this place because the outside place is under the control of Mahamaya, who bewilders the living entity and perpetuates his samsara.
So the devotee, the soul especially, is always preferring to remember the Lord. He's not about, he's not worried about the conditions surrounding him. He's always concerned about remembering the Lord. So that's the devotee is always moved wherever he is, that whichever place he is there, that remembrance of the Supreme Lord is always aspiring for, whatever condition may be, as we discussed. Whatever, Swarga, Naraka, Abhitulya Darshanat, whatever, in between, whatever place. So that's the aspiration of real in the sense pure devotees. So we are aspiring for, striving for, but that's the nature of devotee. Yeah, task 21.
Therefore, I will stay here and destroy my sufferings by using my intelligence to surrender unto you. By this, I will not take birth again.
So, so that's what devotee jiva prays, and then further comes to the aspect of ordinary jiva, how he is suffering, how he comes out, how he suffers after coming out. And then if one is not at all careful, and one is not using his independence, his desires to serve the Lord and practice bhakti, then one will again go to merry-go-round. Ah, Brahma Bhuvanaloke, Punaravartinocham. Again he goes because of the bad association. Because if one is not in satsang, one is automatically prone to dussanga. There is no other option. If we are not in a proper association, good association, then we'll automatically dussanga will take over. There is no any in between position. So if one is with the determination, with great intention, with steadiness, one is not taking the association satsanga, one will be dragged to asatsanga. That's a, that's a default option. So that's why we need to very seriously and sincerely we seek association with devotee satsanga. Thereby, in this life practice and go back to Godhead. And without that, what will happen? Same thing will repeat as explained in the last chapter. So how that will happen? So that by the association of bad association, asatsanga. So that is explained again in many verses. Okay, we will see, especially the prayers in this. I will just share the document. It's 31. Okay. So yeah, till 11th we have seen. 11th, yeah, 11th we have seen. Hmm. In the hellish condition within the womb, the living entity is very much afraid of being born again. But when he is out of womb, when he is in full life and good health, he forgets everything and commits again and again the same sins for which he was put into horrible condition of existence. So how is the suffering living entity? So that is explained in the 11th verse. The living entity in frightful condition of life, bound by 7 layers of material ingredients, prays with folded hands, appealing to the Lord, who has put him in that condition. So the living entity is praying to the Lord. Janturu Vacha, textual. Tasyopasannam, tasyopasannam, avitum jagadichayatta, nanatanorbhuvi chalatcharanarvindam. Soham rajami sharanam hiyakuto bhayam me yene drishikatir adarshi asato narupa. Retranslation.
The human soul.
Hare Krishna.
Faith that
Yeah.
lotus, the supreme personality of Godhead, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only because he can give me release from all fear, and from him I have received this condition of life which is just befitting my impious activities.
So here, as we mentioned that as per Acharyas, this is about how the devotee Jiva is praying to the Lord. As Kapila Muni is remembering one devotee Jiva who happened to be in the womb. Yeah, definitely, if one is not perfected, or even if one is perfected, the example of given of Shukadeva Goswami, especially some devotees, by their sweet will, by their own free will, want to come to this world. And of course, by the will of the Lord, by the will of the Lord in the sense, by the desire of the Lord, by understanding the desires of the Lord, the great devotees want to appear here to serve the mission of the Lord. So those jivas, they are not bound by any material conditions. Out of sweet will, they come. Especially those kinds of devotees, and especially advanced devotees, pray like this in the womb. They can only pray in the womb in that condition. Otherwise, it's not possible to pray. So that's the main point of comment of acharyas. Yeah. So what they are saying? So the humans, they are saying that I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Yeah, he remembering that how Supreme Lord comes in different forms and appears on this earth, and they manifest many pastimes. I take shelter of him. Why? So because he can give shelter, he can give relief from fear. Because the material world itself, Sukadeva Goswami was also very fearful, right now. We remember, hope you might have heard that first time how Sukadeva Goswami was not coming out of the womb only. In the first canto, you might have read about it from the verse where Vyasadeva was worried and went to Dwaraka and prayed to requested Krishna, please come. My dear son is not coming out. So if you give assurance, then only he is going to come out. So Krishna agreed and went there, and then he assured to Sukadeva Goswami, don't worry, by my potency, you will not be under Maya. Please come. Your parents are very worried. So then Sukadeva Goswami appeared. So that's the beautiful incident in Sukadeva Goswami's life. That means that how one should be fearful of these material conditionings. Such an exalted personalities only are fearful of this material existence. Yeah, even Prahlad Maharaj also prays, my dear Lord, I don't fear for anything but forgetfulness of you, which is caused by this material world. Being in the material world, Avismritistva charanaravinde. So King Kulshekar prays that, my dear Lord, let me not forget your lotus feet, because the nature of the material world is to make us forget. Forgetfulness is the constant, consistent and constant characteristic of this material world, to make one forget, especially about Supreme Lord. So avismritistva charanarvinde bhave bhave mest bhavat prasadat. So let me not forget your lotus feet. So because for devotee, that is the greatest fear, forgetting the Supreme Lord. I take shelter of you because he can only give me relief from all fear. So from him only I received this condition of life, which is just befitting my impious activities. This is the nature of devotee. That my present condition is just because of my own impious activities, because of my own karma. I am suffering here. Dhritarashtra Maharaj prays like that. Prahlad Maharaj prays like that. Because of my own activities, my own karma, I am wandering in this world. Mamattama shloka janeshu sakyam samsara chakre bhramata swakarma abhi. So Vatasur says this one. Swakarma abhi, my own past activities, I am just roaming around all these brahmandas. So that's the humility of the devotees, but they accept the shelter of the Lord, but it's just befitting to my past activities. So why he can only give relief, Supreme Lord, because he gave this condition. He gave this means, yeah, because of our own desires, especially in our case, conditioned soul's case. Is by his mercy we are given this kind of punishment, as we discussed last time also. Mother's punishment is only out of great love, but mother is only giving, especially for devotees. So in regards to the different words of the sloka, Chalacharanaravindam, he walks on this earth. This means that Krishna only, referring to Krishna, that's what the Acharyas, Prabhupada also comment. Chalacharanaravindam, he is walking on this earth, means is referring to Lord Ram and Lord Krishna only. So Chalacharanaravindam, I am taking shelter of that Supreme Lord. So another point Prabhupada focuses on Ichaya, Swechaya. So that the Supreme Lord comes by his own free will. Sambhavami Atmamaya. He is not forced like me. So there is also a difference between conditioned soul and liberated soul. Liberated soul in sense Supreme Lord, who is not at all bound. So he is by his own will he comes. But we come by our own karma. We are bound by karma. So that's the difference between Supreme Lord and us. Yeah, read this one. Someone.
The Supreme Lord puts the living entity into the condition of horrible existence. He can also deliver him, and therefore one should seek shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna.
Yeah. So Krishna demands, give up everything, surrender unto me. So that's the beautiful Bhaktivinoda Thakur also sang how Krishna, by Krishna's icha only, Tava icha mate jeever janama marana samruddhi nipate dukha sukha samghatana. So Tava icha mate jeever, only by your desire, janama marana is going on, cycles, janama marana cycle is going on. Whatever comes, samruddhi, opulence, or dukkha, sukha, everything is by your desire. Krishna desire means basically we understand that three doers from Bhagavad Gita. The soul, the Prakriti, and the Supreme Lord, they're all three doers that hope you remember from Bhakti Shastri. So though we say that Krishna is the main doer, but the initiator is Jiva. By Jiva's desire only, Supreme Lord is arranging through Prakriti. So the first prayer is about how Jiva is taking shelter. That is, he's praying like, to the Lord. I take shelter of you. So he is there in the heart, but how we can see, that is explained here. What kind of heart, what kind of attitude or consciousness we should have, so that we can see. Though he is there, but we cannot see now. We cannot, though he is near to me, we are unable to feel his experience. We are unable to feel his presence. What to speak of experience? So, how, in what conditions we can definitely perceive him? That is explained. Yes, tvatra baddha eva karma bhir avrutatma bhutendriyashaya आशयमयीम् अवलम्ब्य मायाम् आस्ते विशुद्धम् अविकारमखण्डबोधम् आतप्यमानहृदये वसितं नमामि. Translation.
I, the pure soul, appearing now bound by my activities and lying in the womb of my mother by the arrangement of Maya, I offer my respectful obeisances unto him who is also here with me, but who is unaffected and changeless. He is unlimited, but he is perceived in the repentant heart. To him I offer my respectful obeisances.
So he is present here. The Lord is always with the soul, and repentance and surrender allow one to perceive him. So these two things. Last verse is talking about surrender, and this verse is talking about repentance. Repentance, atapyamana. Tapyamana matlab is a tapan. Tapa also is a word where we use, tapa means austerity. Atapyamana is repentant. Hard tears of repentance, we say. That means we have done something wrong. Something wrong means going against the Lord, going away from the Lord, rebellious against the Lord. So that kind of when we come to that knowledge, when we become repentant, my dear Lord, I left you. So that kind of repentance will definitely purify the heart, and then we can definitely perceive the Supreme Lord. That's what soul is saying. The present condition is now I am bound in the womb, in this by my own activities, and it's only by your mercy, by arrangement of Maya. Unless Maya covers Avranatmika Shakti, unless Maya covers, we cannot forget the Lord. Because we had the desire, so Maya, by using Avranatmika Shakti, she covered us, and we are suffering here. So that is the difference between me and Krishna. He is there, but he is unaffected by and changeless. He is with me only, but he is different from me. So just like two birds on the same tree, example is given in Upanishads, that one bird is just watching, another bird is just enjoying the fruits, the bitter fruits and sweet fruits. So that's example how Lord is supremely liberated, but how liberated is bound. To that person, he is perceived in repentant heart. I offer my respectful obeisances. So that's the point here. I think I didn't write any note here. Okay. Please read.
Stated in the previous verse, the Jiva soul says, I take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, constitutionally, the Jiva soul is the subordinate survivor of the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead. Both the Supreme Soul and the Jiva soul are sitting in the same body, as confirmed in the Upanishad. They are sitting as friends, but one is suffering and the other is aloof from suffering.
So, what are the characteristics of the Supreme Lord? Vishuddham, Avikaram, Akandabodham. The qualities are explained. I am not Vishuddham. I am impure now. I am changing different bodies. I am not Akandabodham. Akandabodham means there is no Khandita in intelligence. His intelligence is always pure. So that qualities are explained. How to understand that Lord who has these qualities? That Prabhupada explaining. Ataprimana Hridevasitam. He is in the heart of every living entity, but he can be realized only by a soul who is repentant. So it's not that repentant means it's not our sadhana that oh, from morning to evening I keep on crying, my dear Lord, I left you. And that definitely is there in the back of our heart, but we are engaging in service. So the services that we have, the sadhana that we have itself is a reflection of that repentance. My dear Lord, I wasted my life, millions of lives in serving Maya, but I want to serve you now. While chanting also, that's the background music should go on. And while rendering services, so that's the mood that I'm grateful for engaging me in service now. The individual soul is becomes repentant that he forgot his constitutional position, wanted to become one with the Supreme Soul, and tried his best to lord it over material nature. He has been baffled and therefore is repentant. That's the mood of repentance. That should be the mood of repentance. How many lives we have been away from the Supreme Lord's love and devotion, love and kindness, mercy. So that's how we develop more and more repentance in the heart. So yeah, that's kind of read the summary.
Therefore, a fortunate living being who comes to this understanding, even within the womb of his mother, has his liberation assured.
Has liberation assured. That kind of understand. Text 14. या पंचभूतरचिते रहितशरीरे चन्नो यतेन्द्रियगुणार्तचिदात्मकोऽहम् तेनाविकुण्ठमहिमानमर्षिं तमेनं वन्दे परं प्रकृतिपूरुषयो पुमांसम्.
I am separated from the Supreme Lord because of my being in this material body, which is made of 5 elements, and therefore my qualities and senses are being misused, although I am essentially spiritual. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to material nature and the living entity, because he is devoid of such a material body, and because he is always glorious in his spiritual qualities, I offer my obeisances unto him.
So what is the difference between him and me? So Mr. Narakura was saying that if he's like this, Vishuddham Avikaram Akhanda Bodham, how can he stay in this body? Because he's staying in the body, in my body also, in everyone's body, even insect body, all the bodies, he's always there. Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Vajami. Everywhere is there. But how can he stay there? Does it mean that he is also bound? So that's the point that no, you are not bound. That's the main point Jiva was saying. Yeah, the description of bound Jiva, unbound Lord, it continues. Previously also something mentioned, and now also is continuing. I am separated. Why? Because senses are being misused. My desires are something different from you. That's why I am separated. Although I am essentially spiritual. But he is devoid of such material body, always glorious in spiritual bodies. I offer business history. Read this line.
The difference between the living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is that the living entity is prone to be subjected to material nature, whereas the Supreme Godhead is always transcendental to material nature as well as to the living entity.
It's always different. From Bhagavad Gita also we can see how Krishna is saying that he is different from living entities. These verses are exclusively, we can remember, especially when people talk about and we are same with Supreme Lord. But Krishna, many verses saying how we are different, he is different from us, living entities. Nadatte kaschitit papam, nachaiva sakrutam vibhuhu, ajnanenavritam jnanam, tena muhyanti jantavaha, ajopi sanna vyayatma bhutanameshwaropi san, prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavamatmamaya. As Prabhupada is also quoting this verse. So nadatte kashit papam, Supreme Lord does not at all touched by papam. He will not accrue any papam, any sin. Na cheva sukritam. Na papa punya, it doesn't have any kind of touch. But tena muhyanti jantavaha, but they will definitely touch the jiva. So Supreme Lord and jiva differences we are seeing. Some verses. Ladin Sampida Slishta Satchidananda Ishwaraha Sa Vidya Samvrto Jiva Sanklesha Nikarakaraha. Satchidananda Ishwara. Ishwara, what is the quality of Ishwara? Is Satchidananda. And what is surrounded by? Ladinya Samvida Aslishta. He is embraced by Ladinya, the potency, supreme pleasure potency, Ladinya, Samvid, Samvid, Sandhini, Ladini, three Shaktis. Is surrounded by these three Shaktis. But what about Jiva? Jiva is always surrounded by Sa Avidya Samvrito. He is always surrounded by Avidya, Swavidya, his own ignorance. Swavidya Samvrito Jiva, Sanklesha Nekarakaraha. Nekarakara means is a treasure house of all kinds of tribulations. Because of ignorance, he is a treasure house of all kinds of tribulations. Sanklesha, Samyak Rupa and Klesha is completely engrossed in kleshas. Nikarakaraha, the treasure house. The jiva's condition is like that. Because of avidya, because of ignorance, it's continuing ahead. So there's the main difference. That's what Prabhupada also explains. Jiva, Jagat and Jagadish. How these three terms are mainly used in Upanishads also. In Bhagavad Gita also explains. Out of 5, these are 3 topics. Jiva, Jagat and Jagadish. That we try to understand how Supreme Lord is Jagadish. He is not bound by Jagat. But Jiva can be definitely bound by Jagat because of his desire. That's what Prabhupada explains. Since identity of living entity is prone, and it is very minute, he is prone to be subjected to material nature. Yeah, but when he is freed from this material body, which is false, he attains the same spiritual nature as Supreme Lord. So what to do now? So we need to take shelter of Jagadish. The entire process of devotional service is to purify oneself of this contamination of material nature and put oneself on spiritual platform. So Asangoyans, which are not touched by, the soul is not at all touched by anything material in truth. It's only just a covering. Because of the covering, we are all undergoing so many tribulations. So that's the main point. Basically comparing, distinguishing between the bound Jiva, the unbound Lord, and is taking shelter. He wants to take shelter. The Jiva in the womb is praying like that. I take shelter of you, my dear Lord. Then he is saying about how our Smriti, Nashta Smriti, he talks about how that remembrance is lost. How that remembrance of Supreme Lord is lost. In Maya, because of your Maya. That's what he's saying in this verse. Yanmayayoru gunakarma nibandhanesmin samsarike paticharam tadabhishramena nashtasmritir punarayam pravrinita lokam yuktya kaya mahadanagraham antarena.
The human soul further prays the living entity is put under the influence of material nature and continues a hard struggle for existence on the path of repeated birth and death. This conditioned soul is due to his forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, without the Lord's mercy, how can he again engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord?
How can again? So without Mahadanugraham, without your mercy, my dear Lord, how can again I be in your association? Because of your Maya, I am here. Samsari ke pati charam abhishramena. Abhishramena means with great pains. I am wandering here because of your Maya. And what the Maya did? Nashta smritir. The whatever smriti is gone because of Maya, that can be revived. Punar, I am prabhunit lokam. I can be revived that nature by your mercy. Mahadanugraha, some acharyas mention Mahadanugraha means Supreme Lord's mercy. Mahadanugraha means it's a devotee's mercy also. Prabhupada takes mainly Siddhar Swami's translation, mercy of the Lord. Ashwanath Chakravarti mentions, especially it's devotee's mercy. Of course, both are interlinked only. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadat, yasya prasadat nagati kuto. So we cannot retain the mercy of the Lord without the mercy of devotees. So especially we go through the mercy of devotee, Mahadanugraham, devotee's mercy only. So that's the connection is given. If someone has to someone has to ask the womb, the baby in the womb, how did you attain this bhakti? How could you pray like this? He is replying that the cause of attaining bhakti is the mercy of great souls. Some great souls showed mercy on me. That's why I could remember the Supreme Lord and praying to Him. I don't have any capacity on my own. It's only by the mercy of devotees. Yeah, this is a central theme of bhakti, that only by mercy of devotees and Krishna, whatever position, whatever stage we are in, whatever conditions we are in, is only by mercy of devotees. Otherwise, we are not like a great souls wandering the universe for search of the spiritual master or search of the absolute truth in whatever condition may be. Whatever may be the situation, rainy, summer, winter, with food, without food, I am looking for the absolute truth realization. We are, especially I was on my own path to hell in terms of doing all kinds of activities. But by the mercy of Vaishnavas, we are being put onto the path of Vaikuntha, the Golok. So it's only by mercy of Vaishnavas. So Prabhupada is focusing on that point, that how can one be liberated? How that Maya, Prabhupada took that essence of point that this Maya is there. How can that be overcome? Only by the mercy of devotees. So that point he took up, and especially he contrasted with Mayavadis. Mayavadis they will not at all depend on the mercy of devotees or Krishna. They only struggle on their own to be liberated, to be again situated in their own position. They want to try on their own. So that's the point Prabhupada took up, and contrast with Mayavadis. Whenever situation comes, whenever opportunity comes, Prabhupada keeps on hammering the Mayavad philosophy. Yeah, please read. Yes.
Those who are not in devotional service go on speculating for many thousands of years, but they are still unable to understand the nature of absolute truth. One can be liberated in the knowledge of the absolute simply by the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. Yeah, mercy of the Supreme Lord, and that mercy comes through devotees. Vishnu Thakur explains beautiful Siddhanta of Bhakti. Bhagavato Bhaktadinatvat Bhakta Krupanugamini Bhagavad Krupa. Bhagavato Bhaktadinatvat means Bhagavato, the Supreme Lord, Bhaktadinatvat, he is under the Bhakta Adin hai, Bhagavan. इसलिए then what is the conclusion? Bhakta Krupa Anugamini, Bhagavad Krupa. Bhagavad Krupa, the Supreme Lord mercy, follows the footsteps of Bhakta Krupa Anugamini. So that's how Bhakta Krupa Anugamini, Bhagavad Krupa. Wherever Bhakta goes, there Supreme Lord comes. So wherever devotee's mercy is there, there Supreme Lord mercy definitely will be there. So that's the main point in Bhakti especially. So one can be liberated by the mercy of devotees, which will definitely in turn attract the mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada builds many points of how. Okay, we'll read this point. Continue. Arguments.
Arguments may be put forward as to why we have been put under the influence of the material energy by the supreme will of the Lord. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita, where Lord says, I am sitting in everyone's heart, and due to me, one is forgetful or one is alive in knowledge. The forgetfulness of the conditioned soul is also due to the direction of Supreme Lord. A living entity misuses his little independence when he wants to lord it over material nature. This misuse of independence, which is called Maya, is always available. Otherwise, there would be no independence. Independence implies that one can use it properly or improperly. It is not static, it is dynamic. Therefore, misuse of independence is the cause of being influenced by Maya.
So the little independence, Swatantra, that little independence has to be there. Otherwise, there is no saying that living entity. Uh, Otherwise, a living entity becomes a machine, mechanical. Right? It has little independence is there. That free will, that free will, that free will is definitely always there with the living entity. But the misuse of free will, or free will means you have a desire, choosing. Choice is coming again. Free will means choice. So because of that, then one may argue that why Lord has to give free will. That's the another logical question comes into picture. Why Lord has to give this free will? I am just suffering because of my own free will. No, it's not like that. Free will is there just to express the love. Without free will, then one is only machine. Then where is the question of and the loving reciprocation? If he is only a robot, then there is no question of any loving relationship. A relationship is only when you are voluntarily expressing. That's why the free will is there. Will has to be there. If it is only forced love without free will, if it is only force, then there is no any charm in that relation. Even we can experience in this world also. If somebody is putting revolver and saying that you should love me, then then where is the question of very charming relation? Only voluntary loving, then it's a great reciprocation and relish. So that free will has to be there. So the free will means there is independence. Free will implies independence. And independence means you have a desire to choose what I want to serve. So whether you can use it properly or improperly. It is not static, it's a dynamic. So therefore, misuse of independence, cause of being influenced by Maya, that's Prabhupada's main point. Prabhupada expresses how Maya is so strong, but by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, Mamiyave Prapadanti, we can definitely liberate it. So the main point is here is that only by mercy of the Supreme Lord, we can be delivered. By the mercy of devotees and Lord, we can attain to our original position, our natural position, which we lost because of our own independent nature. That is the main point. Prabhupada is very much focused on independence, the forgetfulness of the conditioned souls, much of the purport. And also how we can overcome by taking shelter of the Lord. Process is very simple. That's the beautiful explanation. Text 16. So how we can revive that knowledge? So what is the result of that association is not knowledge that comes because of the great association of the great souls or association of the Supreme Lord. They award knowledge. By that one is delivered. The jnanam, that is the real the spiritual knowledge, the transcendental knowledge should be the result of association with great souls. Or Mahat Kripa means the result knowledge. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So he has opened my darkened eyes, which are covered with ignorance, darkness, by the torchlight of knowledge. So that is the result. So that is expressing here. Jnanam yadetat, jnanam yadetat adadhat katamah sadevas traikalikam stirachareshu anuvartitam tam jiva karma padavim anuvartamanas tapatrayopashamanaya vayam bhajema.
No one other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the localized Paramatma. The partial representation of the Lord is directing all inanimate and animate objects. He is present in the three phases of time, past, present, and future. Therefore, the conditioned soul is engaged in different activities by his direction. And in order to get free from the threefold miseries of this conditioned life, we have to surrender unto him only.
So one has to surrender to him only, no other than Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Paramatma. He is directing all animate and inanimate objects. The position of the Supreme Lord is explained. So in order to get free from threefold miseries, we have to surrender to him only. So Josam is saying that we surrender on gaining knowledge and not forgetting it, which will manifest from previous mercy of devotees, Madhanugraham. So that's the main point. Madhanugraham gives jnanam. By that jnanam we surrender. So the main culmination of all knowledge is to surrender to Supreme Lord. As mentioned by Krishna himself in Gita, that Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Prajam. Bahunam Janmanamante Gnanavan Mam Prapadyate. So after many lifetimes, one who is Jnanavan, one who has knowledge, he will surrender unto me. So because of mercy of the Lord, we gain knowledge, and the knowledge, perfection of knowledge is to take shelter of the Lord. So that's the essence of this verse. You know, of course, by surrendering, what happens also is mentioned. One will be get rid of all this tapatraya, tapatropashamanaya, vayam vajema. The Supreme Lord position is also explained. Traikalikam stirachareshu anuvartitam shaha. Is there in Traikalika, stirachareshu, in all the living entities. So the Supreme Lord position also as a Paramatma. His position, his characteristics are explained. He is present three phases of time. And by surrendering unto him, by the mercy of devotees, we gain knowledge, and by knowledge, we need to surrender unto him. By surrendering, we are relieved from all these miseries. That is explained in this verse. Read the first lines.
When a conditioned soul is seriously anxious to get out of the influence of the material clutches, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated within him as Paramatma, gives him this knowledge: surrender unto me.
Seriously anxious. Prabhupada is adding some adjectives. Seriously anxious to get out of influence of material clutches. Otherwise, one will continue in this material world. I will be eternally continuing in this material world if I don't desire, if I don't exercise my independent free will to choose the Lord, to serve Him, to please Him, to love Him, then I will continue. And that's why the whole material world is also, after the 5 subject matters of Gita, 4 are eternal and 1 is temporary. That's what Bhakti Shastri is explained. I don't know, you remember. But the material world is considered like eternal. How is eternal? Because if a living entity wants to continue enjoy here in the material world, he can keep on enjoying eternally. Enjoying only is a different name for misery. Dukkha pratikaram sukhavan manyate gruhi. We studied last chapter. So living entity is just thinking that he is happy, though he is suffering. So that's how he is continuing eternally here in the name of enjoyment. So we need to seriously anxious. We need to determine. Prabhupada mentioned how one should be determined to go back to Godhead. We need to be seriously endeavoring. So then Prabhupada mentioning how Yatham Prabhupada, how Supreme Lord, yeah, same point, how okay, you can read these 2 points.
To one who wants to be materially satisfied or who wants to lord it over material nature, the Lord gives the opportunity to forget his service and engage in the so called happiness of material activities. Similarly, when one is frustrated in lording it over material nature and is very serious about getting out of this material entanglement, the Lord from within gives him this knowledge that he has to surrender unto him. Then there is liberation.
Tesham Yuktanam Bhajatam Pritipurvakam Tatami Buddha Yogam Tam Yena Mamapiyanti Te. So that's how I gain the knowledge on my own. No, we cannot gain on our own. This knowledge cannot be imparted by anyone other than Supreme Lord or his representative. We cannot gain that highest knowledge but just by our endeavors. Directed from within and guided externally by spiritual master, one attains the path of Krishna consciousness, which is the way out of material clutches. Prabhupada mentioning spiritual master is therefore the mercy manifestation of the Supreme Person. The mercy manifestation. Samsaradava, Naliniloka, Tranaya Karunya, Ghana Ghanatvam. We sing every day. Spiritual master like clouds. They are like clouds bringing the mercy of the Supreme Lord from the ocean of Karuna Sindhu. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, from the ocean of mercy. They are the mercy manifestation. Karuna Sindhu, Krishna is Karuna Sindhu. From that Karuna, from the ocean only, the clouds, sun evaporates the water from the ocean and forms the clouds. And again, the clouds bring the mercy from the ocean and pours down on the air in different areas. Similarly, spiritual master is the mercy manifestation. They are like clouds who are extinguishing the fire of extinguishing the fire of mental existence. So they are the mercy manifestation. The conditioned soul has to take direct instruction from spiritual master and thus gradually becomes enlightened to the path of Krishna consciousness. The seed of Krishna consciousness is sown within the heart of the conditioned soul. When one hears instruction from spiritual master, the seed fructifies and one's life is blessed. So that's the point of where how we can be liberated, how we can be continuing, or we can be liberated by the mercy of Mahadanugraha. From Mahadanugraha, we gain that knowledge to get rid of this material creation, material world itself, tapatraya, we are suffering. That mercy manifests in terms of knowledge, and that knowledge finally leads to surrender to the Supreme Lord. It is expressed here. Then living is continuing his prayer. Te hanya deha vivare jataradvinasrg vinmotra pupapatito vrishatapta deha iccannito vivasitam ganayan sumasan nirvasyate kripanadhir bhagavan kadanu.
Fallen into a pool of blood, stool, and urine within the abdomen of his mother, his own body scorched by the mother's gastric fire. The embodied soul, anxious to get out, counts his month and prays, O my Lord, when shall I, a wretched soul, be released from this confinement?
So when I'll be released, she is praying. Initially, see, he is at this point, he is praying that, my Lord, let me get out of this suffering. But finally, of course, we read the summary also. Finally, this I don't want to get out only. I am here because I am happy in remembrance of you. So that's a beautiful turn of events that happened here. But at this point, he's saying that I am just suffering here. Please let me be released. Why? Swadukkam Vignapayanaha. He's expressing his own distress in the womb. So the precarious condition of living entity within the womb of mother is described here. Prabhupada explains about how living entity is suffering, counting his months to get out of the confinement. Okay, you can read this underline. We'll go ahead.
On one side of where the child is floating is the heat of gastric fire, and on the other side are urine, stool, blood, and discharges. After 7 months, the child who has regained his consciousness feels the horrible condition of his existence and prays to the Lord. Counting the months until his release, he becomes greatly anxious to get out of the confinement. The so-called civilized man does not take account of this horrible condition of life, and sometimes for the purpose of sense gratification, he tries to kill the child by methods of contraction or abortion. Unserious about the horrible condition in the womb, such persons continue in materialism, gross in the chance of the human form of life.
So unserious about horrible condition in the womb, such persons continue in the materialism, grossly misusing the chance of human life. The condition is explained. Kripanidhi and Udara. Prabhupada explains how Kripanidhi and the soul is saying Kripanidhi. Nirvasate Kripanidhir Bhagavan Kadanu. I am Kripanidhi. So that point Prabhupada explains. Kripana means miserly. Udara is broad-minded, who is using intelligence, not like Kripana, but Udara is utilizing human form of life for liberation, for ultimate goal of life to Supreme Lord, to love Supreme, to love and serve Supreme Lord. But Kripana means he is not using. And that's what he defines. Somewhere he defines here. Kripana means miserly. Somewhere, I think maybe in this verse and next verse where he says compares to wealth. Kripana is like a person is not using wealth of this human life. Kripana is miserly generally. Miserly means, I think here only. Read this one who does not. Here only. Please read this
One
one.
who does not do so is a miser, just like a person who has immense wealth but does not utilize it, keeping it simply to see. A person
Yeah,
who does not
continue.
actually utilize his human intelligence to get out of the clutches of Maya. The cycle of birth and death is accepted as miserly. The
Miserly.
exact
Yeah,
the exact the exact opposite of miserly is Udar, very magnanimous. A Brahmana is called Udar because he is utilize his human intelligence for spiritual realization. He uses that intelligence to preach Krishna consciousness for the benefit of the public, and therefore he is magnanimous.
magnanimous. Udara and Kripana. Kripana is the one who doesn't use the wealth neither for himself nor for others. That is the condition of Kripana. He doesn't eat nor he allows others to eat. So that's the problem with Kripana. So Kripana means he's not using the wealth of human life. He's not delivering himself nor he is helping others to deliver. But Udara is the opposite of the same. So that's why he's praying that, my dear Lord, by mercy, I want to Kripanadhi, you are showing mercy on this Kripanadhi. So that's I am suffering here. Please show mercy on this Kripanadhi, a wretched soul. from this confinement. That's the living entity is praying like that. This condition of baby in the womb is also can be. I mean, I heard from the superiors that it can be compared to. We are also in the womb of Mother Parvati. In the material world is compared to Mother Parvati's womb, whole material world where we are confined. This is also like a jail. We also say that material world is also like a jail. And jail is also confinement. In the womb of Mother Parvati, we are confined here. We are struggling. But when a devotee prays, just like Mother Uttara prayed for her son in the womb, Parishit Maharaj. Then Supreme Lord entered in the womb and he saved Parishit Maharaj. So only by devotee's mercy, just like Mother Uttara prayed for Parishit Maharaj. Similarly, when a devotee prays for her, for us, like Mahadanugraham, what we read previously, there the main point is that mercy of devotees is the main cause for our deliverance. Just like Mother Uttara prayed for the protection of, not only protection, but protection and from the danger of this Brahmastra. So Mother Uttara when prayed, then Krishna immediately saved Parishit Maharaj in the womb. Similarly, when devotee prays for us, then only there is a hope from this womb of where we are suffering in the womb of Mother Parvati. We can be delivered. Delivered means we will be relieved from this womb and we will go back home, back to Godhead. So by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. So enedrishim gatimasau dashamasya isha sangrahita purudayena pavadrishena स्वेनैव तुष्यतु कृतेन सदीननाथ को नाम तत्प्रति विनाञ्जलिमस्य कुर्यात्.
Dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, I am aware of consciousness. Although I am only 10 months old, for this causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the friend of all fallen souls, there is no way to express my gratitude but to pray with folded hands.
So he is praying to Supreme Lord, Tat Krutam Upakaram Smaran. Yeah, what kind of special mercy, Upakaram you did to me? He is remembering and he is saying this one. By causeless mercy, I am awakened to consciousness. My remembrance is only because of your mercy. That's the living entity saying here. So Vishnu Jagatav was saying that, hey, last verse you asked me when I will get out. When will I get out? Then are you suggesting that I am merciless since I do not get you out right now? So after that verse, when will I get out, my dear Lord? Please get me out. When he said, then Supreme Lord is saying, are you suggesting that I am merciless since I am not letting you out from this condition? No, with shame, fear, biting his tongue, putting himself in a humble position, the Jiva speaks this verse. No, my dear Lord, only by your causeless mercy I am awakened to this consciousness. I am only 10 months old, but by your mercy only I got this remembrance of you. So that's how he's expressing his gratitude. So he's saying that, my dear Lord, you're not merciless. You are merciful. That's why my remembrance itself is a great mercy. So that's the main point of the living entity devotee. Yeah. Do you have any question?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji. Why it is said that I am only 10 months old?
Yeah, living entity is always eternal, but in the womb is saying, in the almost like 9 months, 10 months, in the womb is praying, no? So that's why I am only 10 months old. In the womb is praying, no? Generally, after 9 months, 10 months, he takes birth, right? No? So that's why he's saying, I'm only 10 months old in the womb.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's the main point. So almost these are the almost like prayers at the end of 8, 9 months, 10 months. At that stage, he's praying. That's the main point. That's why he's saying that although I am 10 months old, he is there in the body. He is there in the body. He is there in the body of mother. So
Yes, but it's
both,
generally 9 months, no? But it is
yeah,
given 10 months.
correct.
That it confuses.
Generally, yeah, 9 or 10 months. It's almost 9 months is generally considered.
Mm.
But Dashamasasya, 10 months old. Maybe a specific case, I think so.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So this is compared to Sukadeva Goswami's case. Generally, Acharya, especially Jiva Goswami mentions, the souls are like Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami stayed for 16 years, right? No, that's what we hear. What to speak of 9 months, 10 months. In that's these souls are like Sukadeva Goswami is mentioned. So maybe 10 months, after 10 months he's praying. That soul might be praying, devotee soul. That we understand. I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also stayed for 10 months, 10 or 11 months in the womb. Okay, but these are special souls. That's the one point, main point.
Okay.
Yeah, read this point, read this one.
Is that a conditioned soul is very serious about getting out of the clutches of the material influence.
Voice is a bit low, bro. Okay. I don't know. Last time it was good.
The Supreme Lord gives intelligence internally as super soul and externally as the spiritual master, or as an incarnation of the personality of Godhead himself. He helps by speaking instructions such as Bhagavad Gita. Continue.
So when he sees Kanishka very serious about getting out of clutches, then he gives intelligence internally as super soul, externally as spiritual master. Then he helps by speaking instructions such as Bhagavad Gita. So both, so that's the gratitude of supreme, the gratitude of the especially devotee. So he's so grateful. He's expressing his gratitude with folded hands for appearing and showing his mercy. By this cause, for this cause's mercy, the womb, the living entity is expressing his gratitude with folded hands, just with a folded hand, praying with folded hands. That is sufficient. That's what expressed in this verse. There's a beautiful verse also in maybe we are lacking time, but I'll just show that verse. That's a beautiful verse. Uddhava says that how Supreme Lord is Payanti. Payanti. Pachitam Kavayastavesha. Now this verse saying that how Supreme Lord by his mercy he is appearing as both forms. That was what was expressed here. Prabhupada is mentioning how externally as spiritual master, internally as Supreme Lord, as Chaitya Guru is expressed here. Naivopayantapachitim kavayasthavesha brahmayushapi kritam ruddhamudasmaranta yo antar bahistanabritam ashubham vidvanvan acharya chaitavapusha swagatim vyanangti. Acharya chaitavapusha, Acharya externally, Chaitya internally, by those two bodies. Swagatim Venanti is showing the living entity. Again, the back home, Swagatim, the supreme, the spiritual world, Venanti is directing the living entity. So for that Lord, I can't repay. Apachitim, gratitude. I cannot express my gratitude. Even if is given Brahmayushapi, even if I was given Brahma Ayusha, the life of Brahma, I don't have enough words to express my gratitude because the Supreme Lord is manifesting in these two features. The poets, experts in spiritual science, could not fully express their indebtedness to you. To you means to Supreme Lord, otherwise saying to Krishna. Even if they were endowed with prolonged time of Brahma, for you appear in two features, externally as Acharya, internally as a person, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. So that's the, we need to exercise that gratitude also day by day. We need to exercise the gratitude every day. It in itself is a great topic, gratitude. But gratitude is the womb of all the saintly qualities. We express our gratitude. Prabhupada, Prabhupada challenges the atheistic people how a small baby can in the womb can pray like this. Before that, Prabhupada expresses also there is no sufficient means to repay personality of Godhead for his act of benediction. Therefore, we can simply feel gratitude and pray to the Lord with folded hands. So we need to express our gratitude in writing, in words, kaya manasa vacha, both on 3 levels. Our express our gratitude by practicing spiritual life with intensity, with seriousness. So the prayer, how they can, atheistic people can question how this can be possible. How can a child pray in such a nice way in the womb of his mother? What is the answer? Please read.
Everything is possible by the grace of the Lord. The child is put into such a precarious condition externally, but internally he is the same, and the Lord is there. By the transcendental energy of the Lord, everything is possible.
Everything is possible. Why can't it's not possible in the womb? So in the womb, we can see Prahlad Maharaj in the womb. He learned many aspects of devotional service. In the womb, Sukadeva Goswami, of course, great souls definitely they are there. But in the womb, it's possible by the mercy of the Lord. Bhakti is not at all restricted to certain conditions. So that is the potency of bhakti. That's why, especially those who are pregnant, they are supposed to read here. Even in general, also, even normal nowadays, also doctors very recommend that they should not see any kind of movies or read any nonsensical things. But they, especially TVs and all, even normal doctors prescribe to patients because it affects a lot of. They also know some kind of science. It affects a lot. Whatever mother undergoes affects the baby. So similarly, when they keep on hearing, it has an impact on the baby, and baby has that potency to absorb. Yes, everything is possible by the transcendental energy of the Lord. So yeah, basically, the living entity, Jiva, devotee, is expressing gratitude. Initially, he was trying to saying that I am suffering here, I want to get out, but by the mercy of the Lord, by understanding the mercy of the devotees and remembrance of the Lord, that remembrance itself is a great mercy. That's why he's expressing gratitude. So we will just go through this section at least and we'll pause. Pasyatyayam dishanaya nanu saptavarthi sharirake dama sharira paraswadehe yasrashtaya tamaham purusham puranam pasye bahirudi chaityam iva pratitam.
The living entity and another type of body sees only by instinct. He knows only the agreeable and the disagreeable sense perceptions of that particular body. But I have a body in which I can control my senses and I can understand my destination. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whom I have been blessed with this body, and by whose grace I can see Him within and without.
Thinking of Lord's great mercy to him, he gives more details. Last verse expresses his gratitude, my dear Lord, by your mercy, I was awakened to this consciousness to remember you again. So thinking of that Lord mercy is giving more details. So he's giving details contrasting to other species. A living entity means soul in other types of body, cats and dogs, sees by only instincts, sees, hears, or feels, thinking, feeling, willing only by agreeable and disagreeable sense perceptions. Whatever instincts happen, they continue with their lives. But I have been given a body, Dhamashariri. The word is used Dhamashariri, Sharirike, Dhamasharir. Dhamashariri means that body which we can have control on. Dhamma, Shama, Dhamma. So these are all Shama, Dhamma especially. Dhamma means external sense control. Shama means mind control, internal senses control. Dhamashariri. That's what Prabhupada explains. How the evolutionary process goes on and how we got this, how we are all in different species. And he gives a beautiful example of a flower example. A blossoming flower. So the bud stage is like a tree's life, which is very dull in consciousness, and gradually insects, uh, trees, insects, and animals, and then human life. Human life is almost kind of a vikasita, just like consciousness. At the 5 stages of consciousness, you might have heard Avrita Chetana, Mukulita Chetana, Sankutita Chetana, Vikasita, and Purna Vikasita. Purna Vikasita means he's liberated. He understood his own position. Vikasita, Purna Vikasita. Vikasita is almost like a human life, which human life in which you are able to understand what is the goal of life, why we are suffering. You are able to question that one. Sankuchita is almost like a not at all, not much developed. So these are all 5 stages compared to a flower also. Flower, very, 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 not at all even like a bird before that. So that is kind of a stage. Avrita Chetana is completely covered over. Completely, there is no even sense. Mugulita means is slightly developed consciousness. Maybe insects kind of a thing. Like ants and all, even if you try to do something, they will not respond. Ants or little insects kind of, but animals like cats, dogs, if you try to show something, they will fear, they respond little bit at least. Right now. So there are different levels of responses, animals also. Avrita, Mukulita, Sankuchita. So little more advanced are like human species, but who are not at all understanding about spiritual life. They are Sankuchita. Because Sita means at least you understand what is life, you are trying to inquire. Purna Vikasita means you are completely liberated position. So that kind of analogy Prabhupada gives. Bud stage, blossoming stage, all the stages of a flower. So that's the human form of life has to be utilized. Dhamashariri, we got this body, Dhamashariri. How is Prabhupada saying Dhamashariri? Dhamashariri having a body of self-control. In other species, there is no control at all. A body of self-control we got, so we should utilize for self-realization. That's the main point. So I'm extremely grateful, my dear Lord, you have given me this body, this opportunity in this body. So let me express my gratitude. That's Prabhupada explains Dhamashariri. That is more of a Prabhupada's point. Controlling oneself, senses and mind. Self-realization means, self-realization by means of controlling the senses is explained here. One should control the senses and mind. Dhamashariri. If you don't control senses, then one is almost like an animal. That's Prabhupada's main point. Read the conclusion. Hare Krishna.
One should know that he is under the control of the Supreme Lord and not think that he is fully independent. Otherwise, why should he be put into conditional life?
You should not think that I am the independent person, but I am the under the control of Lord, but some control is given to me. Dhamashariri. It's not that I am fully under the control of Maya. I am going by instincts. Definitely I am the control of Supreme Lord. I am not independent fully. But I have some control over my, especially in human life, we have some control. Dhamma. By using that control, we need to exercise self-realization. That was main point. Continues. The living entity is continuing his gratitude, expressing his gratitude. This verse and next verse we'll see, and then we'll pause. So ham vasannapi vibho bahudukavasam garbhanna nirjigamshe bahirandakupe yatropayatam upasarpati deva maya mithya yadanussamsruti chakrametat.
Therefore,
Read
my
translation.
Therefore, my Lord, although I am living in a terrible condition, I do not wish to depart from my mother's abdomen to fall again into the blind well of materialistic life. Your external energy, called Deva Maya, at once captures the newly born child and immediately false identification, which is the beginning of the cycle of continual birth and death begins.
So now he came to the position. Now he's saying, Vishnu Jagata is saying, oh, Lord is saying to him, you choose me by bhakti, but you are agitated by suffering. Because you requested to get out, now I will take you out of the womb. So that's what when Lord is saying this point, then what is saying, living entity is saying, no, 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 please don't do that. I don't want to get into the condition of suffering in this world. So that's how he's expressing. And the mood that my remembrance of you itself is sufficient, my dear Lord. If I go again into this world, I may forget you. I will forget you. Your external Maya is so dangerous, so terrible. So please, I am remembering you in this condition. I am extremely grateful. Let me not get out. I don't want to depart from this mother's abdomen. Though it's suffering, but I am remembering you. So whenever I am remembering you, that's a great benediction to me. That's what Mother Kunti also prayed. Vipadasantu shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yat syat apunar bhavadarshanam. Vipadasantu shashvat. My dear Lord, please let those calamities come again and again. So the point of the verse is not about give me calamities, give me difficulties. No, the point is, my dear Lord, I want to remember you. I want to be in your side. So that was the main point. I want to remember you. Oh, if difficulties make me remember, let me have difficulties. But the point is to remember the Lord. If difficulties are making me too much distressed and disappointed with life and forgetting the Lord, then it's not a very good condition. And we are not at the stage where we can pray like that. But I'm not praying at all like that. But yeah, that's the point is that we remembering the Lord and serving the Lord is the main point. That is, he is feeling, he's experiencing great happiness and a great joy in remembering the Lord in spite of all the difficulties. So I don't want to go to a place where I'll forget you by the different situations that are there in this world. My so strong. Uh, Kulshikral verse, the same verse about that verse. I'm unable to, the initial lines I'm unable to remember, but he's praying that avismrutis tvaccharanarvinde bhave bhave mest bhavat prasadat. So that was a beautiful verse. That's a beautiful verse. He says
Mukunda
that
Mala Stotra, Roji.
Mukundamala Stotra. I will just try to. It's a beautiful verse. So he says that bhave bhave mest bhavat prasadat avismrutis this avismrutis
Mukunda Murna Pranipati Ache, Bhavantam
correct.
Ekantam, Yantamartham,
Yeah,
Avismrtistvacharanaravindam Bhave Bhave. So I was
yeah,
just reading from Mukunda Mala.
yeah. So I'm showing this. A third verse only. Mukunda Murtna Pranipatya Yache. He's asking, Yache, I'm begging, my dear Lord. What is begging? Yache. Mukunda Mudna, by bowing down at your lotus feet, Pranipatya Ache, I am begging, my dear Mukunda. What do you want? Bhavantam ekantam yantam ardham. My dear Lord, only let it happen. Bhavantam ekantam. Only let it happen. Only this one thing I aspire for, I beg for from you. Only this end. What is that? Avismritistva charanaravinda. Let there be not any unforgetfulness. Avismriti. Smriti means remembrance. Vismriti means forgetfulness. Avismriti means not forgetting you. So this world itself is like a smriti is very difficult here in this world. So remembrance Lord is very difficult. So avismriti. So let it my remembrance you continues. Bhave mestu bhavat prasada. Wherever I am, let me always remember you. So that's a beautiful verse where he's praying that let me not forget you. I do not wish to depart from this mother's abdomen. Again, where I will be put into materialistic life means forgetfulness of you. So Prabhupada mentioning that though he is in precarious condition, but benefit is that he revives pure consciousness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord and prays for deliverance. That is the benefit that he's praying that let me not get out. Prabhupada explains about that aspect of how one is put into illusion. Maya means illusion, and the illusion means that we forget the Lord. And we forget the Lord, and we always think that I am this body and everything. Me, I, me, mine. That is, he says that real knowledge means to develop the consciousness. I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, eternal servant, eternal part and parcel of Lord. Yeah, that's the main point. So Acharya's comment about Sukadeva Goswami is Prabhupada reflecting here. Please read this one.
It is said that Sukadeva Goswami, on this consideration, remained for 16 years within the womb of his mother. He did not want to be entangled in false bodily identification. After cultivating such knowledge within the womb of his mother, he came out at the end of 16 years and immediately left home so that he might not be captured by the influence of Maya.
Souls like Sukadeva Goswami, great exalted souls, they pray like that. We don't want to come out of the womb, but we want to be protected from Maya. Maya means forgetfulness of Krishna. So that's it. So how to overcome Maya? Prabhupada gives practical understandings that Mama Eve Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. How to succumb to Maya? Prabhupada gives also here the formula, the recipe for to succumb to Maya. So I, me, mine. So that's the main point. I am the body and all the byproducts, me, mine, all the Janasya moho yaham ameti. So that's the point. He expresses that we are in Maya by that. So we should be aspiring not to be caught up with Maya, but taking shelter of the Lord. And we should aspire for that. Last verse of this section. Tasmadaham vigata viklava uddharishya atmanam asutamasa suhudatmanaiva bhuyo yata व्यसनमेतद् अनेकरन्ध्रं मामे भविष्यद् प्रसादिता विष्णुपादः.
Therefore, without being agitated anymore, I shall deliver myself from the darkness of nescience with the help of my friend, clear consciousness. Simply by keeping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my mind, I shall be saved from entering into the womb of many mothers for repeated birth and death.
So, I will deliver myself by friend of clear consciousness, Paramatma. Clear consciousness, Prabhupada translates as clear consciousness. Atmanam astamasa sudatmaneva. By the help of this clear consciousness, Atmana with friendly intelligence, Surda Atmana. Prabhupada translation as Surda Atma, friendly intelligence, consciousness. Surda Atmana is the Supreme Lord also. Atmana means Atma. Atma have various definitions, various meanings. Atma. So many meanings are there. Prabhupada is taking here. Acharya also. That clear consciousness, intelligence, even Supreme Lord also. Paramatma. So that's the main last verse is saying Tasmad. So what you have decided, if Supreme Lord to ask, dear Lord, I decided that I want to be delivered from here. I will not at all anymore inclined to go into this world where there is always a great trouble of forgetfulness of you. I will deliver myself by this consciousness. So that's so delivered means that yeah, I will try to remember you. I will try to serve you in that way. So, but that conviction itself is growing internally more and more. Just by praying to the Lord, remembering the Lord, he is growing in his own intelligence also more and more. So that's why the verses are also evolving in terms of his convictions. Yeah, this conviction is also mentioned by Avadut Brahman in 11th canto. Etam sa astaya paratmanishtam adhyasitam purvatamair maharshibi aham tarishyami durantaparam tamo mukundangrini shevayaiva. Please read translation.
I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by the previous Acharya who were fixed in firm devotion to the Lord Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
I shall cross over by firmly fixed in service of the Lord's feet. So that's the path of deliverance. Tamo Mukundangri Nisheva. Nisheva means that continuous service without any interruption. Nisheva Yaiva. Aham Tarishyami, I deliver myself. Durantaparam, which is very difficult to cross over. But by mercy, but by service to the Lord, I shall deliver myself. So taking shelter of Supreme Lord, taking shelter of service to devotees, taking shelter of clear consciousness means consciousness that I am servant. That's the main point. Clear consciousness means pure consciousness, purified consciousness means that I am servant of the Lord. So in that consciousness we can deliver ourselves by taking shelter of the Lord. This one you can read.
The child prays that it is better to remain within the womb of darkness and be constantly absorbed in Krishna consciousness than to get out and again fall a victim to the illusory energy. The illusory energy acts within the abdomen as well as outside the abdomen. But the trick is that one should remain Krishna consciousness, and then the effect of such a horrible condition cannot act unfavorably upon him.
The illusion energy acts within the abdomen as well as outside the abdomen. But the trick is that one should remain Krishna conscious. So don't think that Prabhupada is mentioning. Don't think that illusion energy is not there in the womb or is not there in the outside. It's there everywhere. But wherever we are Krishna consciousness, wherever we are practicing Krishna consciousness, wherever we are Krishna conscious, we are absorbed, constantly absorbed, then we will definitely be out of this horrible condition, and we can definitely deliver by the mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada explaining about how child can be fully Krishna conscious within the womb of mother without any paraphernalia with which to execute Krishna consciousness. Oh, bhakti can be practiced in the womb. How it is possible? How it is possible without any japamala, kartal mridanga, or any deity? How it is possible to practice bhakti? So Prabhupada explains there is no need of any paraphernalia. So that's the potency of bhakti. One doesn't need any material arrangement to cultivate Krishna consciousness. One can just remember the Lord by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. One can chant while sleeping, while working, while imprisoned in the womb, while outside. This Krishna consciousness cannot be checked by any circumstances. So, can you read the conclusion of child's prayer?
The conclusion of the child's prayer is, let me remain in this condition, although it is very miserable. It is better not to fall a victim to Maya again by going outside.
Hmm. So that is the essence. Essence is to remember the Lord. Although it's miserable, but let me not fall victim to Maya where there is a forgetfulness of Krishna. So bhakti can be practiced anywhere, and this is the essence of child prayer. Child prayer means the devotee's prayer, especially this is a devotee prayer, is very much expressed here. The gratitude, the condition, my own condition, the Supreme Lord's supreme condition, liberated condition.
Who is asking this? Because after this we see Kapila Uvacha. That means who is telling all this before the condition of the child? Who is telling?
Whose prayers we are reading?
The child's prayers.
Janturuvacha.
Jantur Uvacha. Okay.
Janturuvacha. We are
Hare Krishna,
hope
Prabhuji.
we are trying to remember Janturuvacha. Jantu is saying, living entity is praying. That's what we are saying now. Kapila
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Jantru.
You said that it is devotees prayers, means it is not applicable to every living entity. Means every living entity uh, doesn't say that
Yeah,
means.
yeah, that's what Acharya's commentary. Maybe next time I'll show you. There is a long commentaries are there because we don't have much time. We could actually we should
In the embryo,
get some.
every living entity doesn't say like the Janturuvacha.
Yeah,
What is the meaning?
Janturuvacha. Yeah, Janturuvacha is living entities saying in the womb, but Acharya's commentary, according to Acharya commentary, every living entity cannot pray like that because they don't have that kind of devotion or they are devotees. It's very very miserable condition.
Because he is in the womb, he is called Jantu, isn't it?
Because yeah, Jantu means
He
living
may be
entity.
devotee, but because he is in the womb, he is called Jantu.
Even all the devotees cannot pray. That is also only a devotee who remembered the Lord. That instance, that incident is spoken by Kapil, the Supreme Lord Kapila remembered, might have remembered. Oh, one
So
devotee.
ultimately, Kapila Deva is only speaking, right? Lord Kapila is only speaking, but it is said Jantru Vacha like that.
Yeah. I mean, Kapila is speaking to Mother Devotee. No, these are all
Correct. And then he's
teachings of
telling about
Kapila.
Jantru.
In that, as expressed by the living entity, he is expressing in his
Yes.
prayer. Because definitely the Supreme Lord, he might have definitely noted the prayers of a devotee who offered him prayers in this way. So that's how he could relate and he expressed here. So yeah, but only some only very rare souls, just like Sukadeva Goswami, that was example of Jiva Goswami, just like Sukadeva Goswami, that level kind of devotees can pray to the Lord in the womb. Otherwise, it's not possible. That's why even Prabhupada brought out Sukadeva Goswami's example, noting down the Jiva Goswami's comment. Just like Sukadeva Goswami is there by his free will in the womb of mother for a long time, and is remembering the Lord in the womb. Like that, souls can pray sometimes. It's not a compulsion, it's not a regular thing, even for devotees, even for devotee souls, and what to speak of, and not at all possible for normal living entities who is suffering in the womb. So these are all very, very specific cases, and why it is put into this section where it's these are all intertwined sections. Next class, I will just explain what Acharya's comment that it's possible because some other 2-3 sections also their combined discussions were there, like Chitush Kumara's birth is also explained in a very intertwined manner, and Varahadev, when we were talking about Varahadev, also explained how it was intertwined of two Varahadev's appearance, Raktavaraha and Nilavaraha, how that discussion happened by Sukadeva Goswami. He just remembered out of how Earth was saved. In that connection, he remembered two pastimes, but it was spoken as one pastime. Similarly, here it appears that only one child is taking birth, or one child is there in the womb, but two sections are combined like that. It is expressed by acharyas, but they are two different. One is regular living entity just caught up in the womb and suffering, But out of, so the womb, child in the womb section point came. So Lord Kapila might have remembered that one devotee child prayed to me like this. So he might have included, told to Devagati like this. That's the comment of Acharyas. So they are different entities.
Prabhuji, I have one question if whenever you are done. One.
Yeah. If we have time, others can carry on, maybe, if they have engagements. Yes, bro.
Prabhuji, we have been hearing Dhamma Shariri. So
Hmm.
that means the body in which self-control is possible. But when we see outside, we see completely opposite, Prabhuji. And I'm not see somebody who doesn't know anything, that's
Correct.
okay. But
Correct.
even amongst the devotee, we have seen that people are trying to control the senses, but not even we have seen that even big people, they sometimes fall down. So Dhamma Shariri, that means the ability is there, but it is sometimes present and then sometimes it vanishes, and people, the conditioned say soul, he comes under the this thing of Maya. So in fact, is it like how to control the senses?
Yeah, it's a good question. At the same time, Dhamma Shariri, how to control our desires, how to exercise our senses is a good topic, big topic as well. But that exercise, that ability is there, as you mentioned. That ability is there with the human life. But because of our own desires, we are dragged. Just like Prabhupada also, Acharyas also gives example of smoking. I mean, child is not a smoker by birth, right? No? I mean, no one is a smoker by birth. Only it starts in between. Somewhere he picks up the habit, and he forms the habit. And then one at one stage is like a chain smoker. He cannot live without smoking, right? No? So similarly, from many lifetimes, the desires are so strong. He's just carried away. He's just pushed by his desires and by his inclinations. But the human body has that capacity, as you mentioned. But as the final conclusion comes to, when the Vaishnavas show mercy, and when a Vaishnava comes into his life by various ways, that by chanting holy names, by going to Harinam, by giving prasad, by taking prasad, so all this will slowly accumulate as a Sukruti, Bhaktivanmukha Sukruti. So at one point he reflects, why I am suffering like this? So material world is always gives so many tribulations and difficulties. Difficulties are always there, but awakening is not there. So that awakening, as we are also seeing, how living entity is suffering in the hellish conditions, all these conditions. But by the mercy of Vaishnavas, one is awakened, and then he realizes, Array, I need to control my senses. I need to start regulating my senses. So that's where one starts regulating slowly. Otherwise, as you mentioned, they are everyone. Ever not what to speak of everyone. Me myself, before coming into Krishna consciousness, I am just going along with my senses and all, without any so-called morality is only lack of opportunity, right now.
Yeah.
So-called morality, what we are following in the society, is only lack of opportunity, mainly, generally. So otherwise, that's what Prabhupada's special mercy. We have seen that how he went to America and he preached. The people who are very much addicted to all kinds of, there is no kind of dhammashariri at all. But when he showed that kind of, when he gave the knowledge, then they started exercising. And then now they are not only dhammashariri, they are perfected beings now, right? Now.
Yeah, but
So,
Prabhuji, in that also we find that many did, but some left the movement, right? So
uh,
even if they understand Dhamma Shariri, but
okay.
they are not follow.
Yeah,
So
that's
the question is
the
how to get one process by which 100% success will be there. As
yeah,
sadhaka, I'm asking
uh,
this question.
Yeah, definitely. We are all sadhakas only. As Prabhupada is always putting down adjectives, anxious, serious. I also heard many lectures in sense by senior devotees. The point of what we should learn from, especially His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj will ask these questions and directly only. I mean, we see great exalted personalities are bewildered by Maya. What to speak of us, the tiny puny living entities who are just play toy in the hands of Maya. What to do? How we are saved? How will we are fearful? So yes, answers are given that yeah, if one is just Maya will not attack in one day. That is one point. So Maya will not attack in one day. It slowly takes over. And he will be given many opportunities and remembrances and facilities. If one is sincere and serious, he will be saved. But if one is neglecting all the warnings, all the indications, then at one point it is seen that he is broken down, but it is gradually building up. So that was the answer given like that. So one is sincere and one is serious, and definitely he will be saved. So that's the only final bottom line, rock bottom. If one is sincere, one is serious, one is enthusiastic, eager, and definitely one will be saved from all these conditions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sincere question. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Chal
Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. We'll continue in our next session. Maybe next session means next Saturday.
Yes,
Right, no?
Prabhuji. Tomorrow exam, dear devotees, respected devotees. Tomorrow is exam at 2:30 p.m. So just gentle reminder for that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.